Here we see all the planets represented and all the color tones, the frequencies. These celestial tones can actually be measured in our voices. We can find the tone map to know where to work to liberate ourselves and to integrate. This is the basic wheel that I've been using since the early 90s, with the zodiac of the 12 tones, 12 colors. This is a form of bioacoustic medicine, and the goal is wholeness and integration. We have to know where we're dropping out, where the stress points are. Everything in creation is singing. String theory now proves this. Well, it's not really a theory anymore, is it? And all of life forms can be identified by their specific frequencies or formula of frequencies. Nothing's simple, is it? We are all made up of symphonies of frequencies. In the 1970s, University of Ohio sound researcher Sherry Edwards discovered that she could hear distinct tones emanating from individual people. When she sang the same note back that she heard, extreme, dramatic, immediate effects occurred. This gave her the hunch that she was on to something, and she was one of my first, more scientific teachers. My first teachers were life and nature and indigenous people. They have the same traditions. Edwards developed voice analysis to analyze individual voice tone patterns to find the sound signatures for healing. Therapeutic sound formulas are then created based on an individual's weak voice tones, what is dropping out. We have Alex Gray's wonderful art showing the network of light through the system. We use voice spectrum analysis to find the sound blueprint, tones for healing, to return our lost chord. The frequencies missing in the voice relate to limiting patterns and beliefs in the body, mind, emotions. They also relate to genetic tendencies and karma, belief systems, emotional patterns. We all have them, but you can read them in the voice. Using one's signature tones reconnects the inner pathways, creating wholeness, freedom, and soul evolution. With a frequency analyzer, we measure the voice pattern to identify the strong and weak points. Combining this analysis of the voice results and the planetary tone chart, we've been seeing that these planetary and solar influences are affecting all biological forms, and each person has a tone pattern formed by the planetary patterns at birth. It forms a blueprint that can be changed. It's not a fated thing at all. You can work with it and shift it if you know what you're working with. So it's like the as above, so below, the Hermetic tradition. As above in the heavens, the moment of birth, below we receive that music in our own personal symphony. The voice is a barometer of the state of our beingness. The voice indicates one's character and the expression of one's spirit. Hazrat Inyat Khan, Sufi master. The Sufi tradition, the esoteric aspect of Islam, which I wish came back stronger right now in the world, they carried a tremendous amount of knowledge about working with the voice and the frequencies in the voice. He again said, the person who has found the keynote to their voice has found the key to their life. Here's a voice print of someone who's pretty out of balance here. Heavy tones over on this side of the scale and nothing over here. It turned out that the issues for that person emotionally and physically were sitting right in these areas that we're dropping out. Deepak Chopra also says something similar. The body is held together by sound. The presence of stress and disease indicates that some sounds have gone out of tune. So we're just bringing back the right tuning. What a time we live in where all the crystal bowls and tuning forks and toning and chanting are occurring. We live in that threshold between the ages that we have all potential to change everything with our song. That is actually the theme of the creation story of the Avapai Apache people of this area. She listened to the songs of heaven when she emerged in Boynton Canyon, Komalapokuia. She listened and she trusted what she heard, and she sang, and her song changed everything. Your song changes everything. Some of the effects of applying missing voice frequencies found by voice analysis are, isn't this a great image? From Scientific American, and I love it when this stuff bleeds through into all levels in science, technology. When individual frequencies are played back to a person, the change can be reflected at the cellular level, in brainwave patterns, unification of the energy field, and in the experiential state of being. And this can happen immediately. It doesn't have to take a long time. Although things that have been kind of set in stone, as we say, in the bones, in the tissues, take a little longer to resolve, can take a week, a month, a year, whatever. It just depends on how long-standing a genetic tendency or pattern in the body is, or emotions. But through toning, you can release all that and clear it, not only for yourselves, but for your ancestors and those who will come after. Clearing the family lineage with sound. The sound that you're hearing, I'll turn it up a little bit. I decided to play I was doing the sun meditation this morning, and I was told, use the A sharp. It's this tone for Aquarius. So I thought, okay, that's a good idea. And this is a sound meditation, 15-minute long, using didgeridoo, overtone chanting, mantras, and harp, so that people can tone along with these tones and assist them. Sometimes we don't know where to start. I didn't know where to start before I met my teachers. And this can be really helpful for people opening the door to their own sound medicine. Getting a crystal bowl or a tuning fork or a drum or whatever and toning along with it. There are 12 different sound meditations for the 12-tone musical scale. Each tone relates to specific nutrients, organs, physical functions, mental, emotional, and genetic patterns, trying to cover all the bases there. Just to let you know that everything carries a frequency, even a thought, even a feeling. It all has frequency that can be measured. Therapeutic formulas are then created based on the frequencies stressed or missing in the individual voice and the planetary tone pattern. They mirror one another, as above, so below. Cannot wait to show you how this is rooted in the traditions, in the mystical, Western mystical traditions in Europe. It goes from Egypt, Babylonia, and before, and then it filters into the West through the Hermetic texts. And it'll all start making sense. We're running a little short on time, but I'll just hit on a few of these cases that were really wonderful and striking. In Mexico City, I've done a lot of work for many, many years, and the children in the clinics that they were using the Songaya sounds that you're hearing were suffering from limited motor response. They were frozen physically, as well as autism, inability to speak or share, come out of their shell. They saw coordinated movements. And what was interesting is they saw circular movements with these sounds like you're hearing. This is what they were using. And the children started moving in circles where there was no movement before because of the cyclic repeating of 60 beats per minute or slower. It just got them out of their shells. They began communicating, vocalizing with the music. Little autistic son, I've told this story before, he was speaking total gibberish. I could not understand him. I did the analysis, got the voice print, and then I went over to the harp and stood. Began to play. And he stood at the other end of the harp. He had never seen a harp before. And he calmed down and he played a duet with me. He was 5 years old. He'd never played an instrument before. And at the end, he kissed me on the cheek and said, "Harp." And so immediately his parents got him an instrument. And he began naturally playing music in his missing tones that he needed. It's a natural response. When we hear the sounds we need, we resonate and feel good. We want to use those. We want to hear them. Oh, in a Dolphin project I was doing with autistic and disabled children in Mexico City, Dr. Fritz Zimmerman said that there was a synchronization with the waveforms between the therapists, the dolphins, and the children in a state beyond separation. And in that state, the children came out of isolation and they could communicate. They began to develop all of their sensory abilities. All of these are online. You can see them on the voice analysis page. This is fun. This was a wonderful local client. After 1 week of toning her C sharp, which relates to root chakra issues, sex, money, power, she was more relaxed, uplifted, libido increased dramatically. I should use that on television. If I ever wanted to get really busy. Second week, she was more calm, aligned with her true purpose, and she made a major business gain. Again, root chakra things. A guy who was kind of a bit mousy got really empowered, and their relationship improved a great deal. Basal temperature, thyroid balancing, use in body work and other therapies, it can increase the efficacy. This is an interesting one. I didn't show you the images because I was in my underwear and it's really embarrassing. But the video imaging footage taken up in Bellevue, Washington with the same doctor I mentioned earlier, Dr. Juan Acosta, showed that there was increased light in and around the body after toning a very short time, like a minute. And dark, congested areas became 60% brighter, and the same result occurred while holding feelings of bliss and gratitude. So I highly recommend toning with the state of gratitude. Find something that you can appreciate about yourself or another and focus on that feeling of gratitude, and it totally shifts your frequencies within and without. Here's a family in Portland. Now the husband's singing all the time. I hope she enjoys it. And they're singing as a family. Now that's wonderful.